Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unreal 4 tutorial. In today's video we're going to be advancing upon a previous video we did on having the flashlight lead the player's camera, so the flashlight moves before the camera. And what somebody asked was if we can maybe make it so the player can choose how quickly the camera and flashlight move between each other, so essentially how quickly the flashlight will move before the camera, because again, as we mentioned in that video, each person will have a different preference. So if we hit play, I can show you what we're going to make. So this is what we set up last time, where the flashlight is just going to move before the camera. And in my example, what I'm going to do is press P, which will open up this menu here, in which I can now change the speed. So if I were to drag this all the way up, press P again, you can see that now it moves a lot quicker, so they're basically the exact same. But if I were to press P and change it all the way down, we can see that this moves a lot slower. So again, now the flashlight is moving all quicker before the camera. So this is what we're setting up today, essentially just the player can input and change the camera's lag speed to make this look different and get it perfect for them. So it's not just perfect for you, it's now also perfect for the player. So this is what we're going to be setting up today. So without further ado, let me delete this code and I'll show you how I've done it. Again, I'll mention that we set up the main part of this code in the previous video, so if you haven't watched that already, I'd recommend going to watch that before you do this. However, if you don't want it to be with the flashlight as well, you do just want to let the player change the camera lag speed without the flashlight, then this video will work perfectly for you as well. But the first thing we want to do is we want to create the widget in order for the player to change the speed. So to do that, I'm going to right click, go to user interface, create a widget blueprint, and I'm just going to name this one camera lag widget. You can name it whatever you want, but I'm going to open this up straight away. And you can also just do this in your options widget if you have already set that up. So you've already made an options widget, you can just put this in there as well, but I don't, which is why I'm creating a new widget for it. What I'm also going to do in here is just add a background blur, just to make it look a little bit easier for the player to see everything. Position X and Y is 0, size X 1920 and size Y 1080, just so it covers the whole screen. And I'm also going to anchor it to the whole screen as well, so it doesn't move. Then I'm just going to increase the blur strength to, let's say, 65. You can obviously put that as whatever you want, but I'm just making it really blurred so you can't really see anything behind it. Now I'm going to add some text onto the screen here. Not onto the background blur though, I'm going to add onto the canvas panel. And what I'm going to do is just put in here camera lag speed. And that's just so the player knows what this slider beneath it is going to do. So I'm going to size the content, increase this font size to, let's say, 40. And I'm also just going to give it an outline of, let's say, 5. Again, all of this you can customize to get it look perfect for you and change how it looks. I'm just doing a very basic appearance for it, because again, I want the functionality of it, not how it looks. So again, obviously go into much more detail for this. So that's the text. Now the important part is we're going to drag a slider onto the canvas panel, like so. Putting that underneath this, and again, I'm just going to anchor it into the center of the screen, like so. Then I'm just going to drag this out to scale it up like this. And I might also move it up a little bit as well. Well, actually, I'll leave it in the center. So now we've got a slider in here. So now we're going to change some of the values of this slider. The value I'm going to set as a default value of 2, as that is what I have my default value as for my camera lag speed. But you can set this to whatever you want, because I'm also going to change this a little bit later anyway. The minimum value, we don't want to have a 0, because if it's 0, then it's not going to move. So I'm going to have it as 0.01. So the lowest the player can go is the speed of 0.01, which is going to be very, very slow and very laggy. Obviously, again, the camera lag isn't a bad sort of lag, it's just how slowly it's going to move after the player's moved the mouse. And the maximum value I'm going to have as, let's say, 12. You can set this to whatever you want. I set it as 10 in the overview at the very beginning, because 10 or 12, anything like that, is basically, it's not active, it's pretty much perfect, there's no lag. So again, the minimum value for me is very, very laggy, the maximum value is no lag. You can change these to be whatever you want once again, obviously customize this all perfect for you, but these are the values that I'm currently going with. So this is great, the player will be able to drag the slider along between these values, but how does this actually change the lag speed? Well, if we scroll down with the slider still selected, we can click on value changed for the event there and get this event here. So every single time the player changes the value, this event is going to fire off, outputting the value of the slider. So we need to then use this event to change the camera rotation lag speed. So before that, we're going to delete event tick and event pre-construct to use event construct here. And we're doing this because we need to get a reference to our character blueprint. So we're going to drag out this and cast to the third person character, or whichever character it is you're using. It could be third, first, or whatever you've named it. And object is obviously going to be get player character. Now very simply, what we're going to do is just right click as third person character, promote it to a variable, naming this character reference, like so. Now back under on the onValue changed event, we can drag out our character reference like so, and out of this we're going to get the spring arm, drag all the way down and get spring arm, And for you, it might be named camera boom, but it is a spring arm, so just get whatever you named it. And out of this, we're then going to set camera rotation lag speed, like so, simply just inputting the value from the event into there. So again, it's getting the value from the slider and changing that to be our camera rotation lag speed. So again, we've set that to be between 0.01 and 12 for me, with a default value of 2. Now if we save and compile this, that is then going to work perfectly for us. However, if we close it and then reopen it, the value is going to be set back to 2. We want to have the value set to what the current value of the slider is. So we can do that nice and simply. We can drag out of the character reference and get the spring arm once again. And this is up off event construct, so event construct, character reference. Then out of the spring arm, instead of setting the camera rotation lag speed, we're going to get camera rotation lag speed. Again, when we open up this widget, we don't want the value to set back to 2. We want it to be set to what the current value is. So if we drag in our slider, we can get slider, drag out of this, and set value, setting the in value to the camera rotation lag speed, like so. So we're essentially just doing the opposite of this onValueChanged. OnValueChanged, we're getting the value of the slider and setting that to the camera rotation lag speed. When we open up the widget, we're getting the current camera rotation lag speed and setting the slider value. So I hope that makes sense. That's just again, so it's essentially saving the value. It isn't actually saving it, it's just saving it in the widget. If you close the game and open it, it will be reset, so you'll need to set up a separate save system for that. So we're going to compile, save, and close this. That is now that part working perfectly. All we need to do now is actually put this on screen to allow the player to use it. Again, if you've done this in an already set up options widget, which you have, then you'll probably have this part all set up for you, and that's the video done for you. However, if you haven't, you can do what I'm about to do, which is what I did at the start of the video, which is just pressing a button, puts the menu on screen. So to do that, I'm going to open up my character blueprint, which is content, third person BP, blueprints, third person character. And in here, what I'm going to do is hold down P, left click to get event begin play. Or if you've already used it, just right click, search for it, then hold down S, left click to get a sequence, with then 0 going to the code you have now, and then 1 going to this new code I'm about to set up. But I haven't used it yet, so I don't need to do that. Out of event begin play, we're going to create widget, with the class being the widget we just set up, which for me was the camera lag widget, and the return value is going to be right click, promote to variable, and then I'm just going to name this one camera lag widget. You can call it reference or whatever, but that's what I'm going to do. So that's all we need to do on event begin play. We're again just getting a reference to this widget so we can nice and easily access it later on to put it on and take it off the screen efficiently. Underneath this, I'm going to right click and get the P keyword event, because what I want to do is when I press P, it's going to put it on screen, and P again takes it off. You can obviously set up an action mapping as well, or do it any other way you want. Again, this is just a simple version for me to show you the main functionality of it. Out of pressed, I'm going to get a flip-flop, so it toggles between values of A and B. So we're going to press P to toggle it on and press to toggle it off, so we don't have to hold it. A is also going to put it on the screen. So we're going to get the camera lag widget, drag out this, and add to viewport. That goes into A, like so. Then we're going to drag out of again and remove from parent, and that goes into B. So this is now going to put it on and take it off the screen perfectly. However, we do also need to make sure the player can use it, so we need to make sure that the mouse cursor is going to be on screen. To do that, we can simply right click and get player controller, drag out of this, and set show mouse cursor. It's as simple as that, and putting it on screen, we're obviously going to tick this, and then we're going to duplicate it, connect it into remove from parent, and untick it, so it's now false, so it's been taken off the screen. But again, the target being get player controller, like so. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to pause the game so that when the player is changing their options about, the game is paused, it's not playing obviously. So to do that, we can just do set game paused. That's a nice and simple one as well. Again, tick it the first time and have it false the second time to pause it and unpause it. Now we compile, save, and this is the code done. When we press P, it's going to put it on screen, give us the mouse cursor and pause the game. When we press P again, it's going to take it off the screen, remove the mouse cursor and unpause the game. So also because we're pausing, what we need to do is press the action mapping or the P keyword event we have at the very beginning and just tick execute when paused. So when we pause the game, we can still use this action mapping here. Compile, save, close this, and let's hit play to test it out. So we'll see that our default value is going to be 2 once again, so it's now moving about like this. If I press P, we've got the camera lag speed widget on screen with our default value being 2 here. If I move it all the way up, press P again, we're going to close it, and now this is a lot quicker. You'll see that there's basically no camera lag whatsoever. Now if I press P, I can lower it all the way down. You see it did save the value up there. It's a little hard to see with the flashlights, sorry. So if I move that, you'll see it saved it. And if I move it all the way down here, you should see that it should be really laggy and really slow now, like so. So in actual fact, that was so low that it went all the way around. So you might want to lower it a little bit, which I might do, because that is a bit too slow to the point where it kind of breaks ever so slightly. So let me open up the widget. And what I'll do is simply just increase the minimum value to 1 instead. Which again, this is why you're just going to change it to make it perfect for you. So I'll lower it all the way down a little bit more, and you'll see that this is nice and slow like this. So again, the player can now change this to get it working perfectly for them. So if we increase it a bit more, you'll see that the camera is still lagging behind the flashlight ever so slightly, but it's not as noticeable. So I think that'll be it for this video. So we've done everything we want to do today. We've set it up so the player can now adjust the camera lag speed to get it perfect for them, instead of it just being one set value which we have set. So again, they can just open it up and change it to get it what they want. So again, it just adds that little extra touch into the game to make it more customizable by the player. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and hope you found it helpful. And if you did, make sure to like and subscribe down below. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.